Years ago when we started the ministry, one of the things that was obvious to me and to Sandy was that what was necessary was for us to be able to celebrate all traditions, to bring people together and to share with them, and have them share with us and us with them, and in the doing of that, allow people to break down some of the barriers that existed. And we were lucky because we were kind of pioneers in a way. We were at the beginning of that interfaith movement that was beginning, and now it's even evolved beyond that. It's not interfaith anymore so much. It's not having an interfaith dialogue so much. And nothing wrong with interfaith dialogue, people from different traditions coming together and speaking together. Nothing wrong with that at all. What we really want, though, is we want people to be able to stand within all the traditions and be comfortable, and to have an understanding, to understand the commonality of all traditions, the universal presence of the divine mind in all those traditions. That's really what we need to understand. We need to realize that it doesn't matter what faith you are or what understanding you have. If you live a spiritual life and you remove the limitations that people sometimes put on their understanding that create fear, then you have a commonality that is amazing in terms of tradition. What we saw is I think we're kind of like second generation, really. I mean, Reverend Marilyn Rosner, and there are others who are pioneers in this field. And one of the things that we felt was really important, and a lot of traditions or a lot of people shy away from it, and that is the inclusion of the absolute truth that we are spirit and that we are by nature not physical, that we are by nature not limited, that we are infinite, inconceivable, unknowing, and really, in reality, we are unknowing. We can't understand ourselves. And knowing that, and knowing that we can communicate with spirit, knowing that we can connect to spirit, and that there is a dialogue that we can have with the spirit realms, is a powerful thing, and it is the foundation, really, of all traditions. And what we've done is we tried to normalize it a bit. We tried to make it so you didn't have to be a minister, you didn't have to be a special saint, or you didn't have to be anything special to be able to connect to spirit. You just had to be spirit, and we're all that. And you had to get rid of the ego stuff, which can get in the way for sure, but you get rid of that, and you understand it, and you learn to develop it, and you develop a personal connection to spirit. And that's an amazing gift. It changes your life. It changes it, because all of a sudden we stop being limited. We stop being small, and we become something bigger. We become something meaningful and purposeful and directed. And that's the nature of an interfaith ministry. And people say things, oh, I'm spiritual, but not religious. I've never understood that. Like, what does that mean? I'm not religious. Does it mean you don't want structures? Like, I don't understand the difference between being spiritual and being religious, except religious has a negative connotation, and it's usually entrenched in the tendency people have to control other people. You know? And that's a fair statement, if that's what the religion does. But the foundations of religions is not that. The foundations of the religions is spiritual. What else could it be? Like, that's the nature of it. It's an expression of divine mind and divine expression. How can we feel being spiritual is different than having a religious perspective? And religious is true. Maybe it has more to do with the limitations that are attached to spiritual life. But I don't care. It doesn't matter to me what we call the divine source, whether we call it God or divine presence or Ralph. Doesn't matter at all to me. It's all the same. Because it's the same presence in all of them. And there's no need to judge or limit or restrict. There's no need to say, I'm right, and therefore I'm going to fix you because you clearly are wrong, because you're not understanding it the way I do. That doesn't work for me. I don't see how that is even spiritual. Like, how can we be spiritual and at the same time judge people, limit people, put them in boxes and abuse them because they're different? And then we say we're spiritual. I don't get that. It doesn't work for me. I think we need to love people, even in their differences, even if they don't understand the world like we do. Then things will change. And then an interfaith ministry, a spiritual ministry, a interfaith spiritual community, whatever you want to call it, a religion, a ministry, a bunch of people that share common views, doesn't matter what we call it. It is founded and grounded in an understanding of our connectedness. And if we can learn to celebrate that, we will change the world. We will. There's no question about it. The world will change because we'll understand that when one is affected, we're all affected. When one is hurt, we're all hurt. When one is judged, we're all judged. That's not the way we want it to be. So why do we do that? We have to think about that and figure if we can figure out a way not to do that. Because that's what real spiritual life is about. Spiritual life is about living a life of reverence, of celebrating life, of loving unconditionally, of being open to that, and not trying to fit everyone into the same box so we all feel safe. That doesn't work. We know that. We've tried it. Many thousands of years we've tried it. Doesn't work. Let's try something different now. Don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be different.